Alrighty then, so for this game I'm playing Ezreal with a Sona support in bot lane versus a Sivir Taric lane. We have Renekton versus Jarvan in top lane. We have Gragas versus Ryze in mid lane. And we have a Mumu jungle while they have Alistar jungle. So, we picked this sort of team layout because we were aiming for mid-late game. We tend to anyway. We prefer that play style as a team. This is a 5-man pre-made, ranked around 1400 elo, by the way. Not that it tends to mean a huge amount in pre-mades, because usually if you're playing pre-mades, the team you're facing are usually pretty good. They're not always amazing, but usually they have a general idea of the mechanics and they can usually play pretty well. So, anyway, we'll crack on with this. So, I'm Ezreal, as I said. I start boots, 3 pots, pretty much the entire team does other than the support, who starts with 4 wards. So, we're happy with this. Now, naturally, I'll start with Q, because I'm Ezreal. Q is really good poke, harass, and is cheap. Cheap on mana. It's just free poke, pretty much. We like the lanes as they are. We feel that we've got good lanes. But as you'll find in a moment, Renekton has a horrible start, dies to Alistar gank, and then yeah, it kind of mugs up our jungle a little bit as well, but it's fine. Our mid kills their mid pretty early, which I was surprised about. And then it's pretty basic down here. It's just poke, poke, poke as always. We found this lane a little bit hard because Sivir is naturally painful on supports, and Sona is sadly very squishy, as you can see. One Sivir Q, and yeah, she lost like tons of her health. It wasn't pleasant. So we were aiming to just sit back and farm, really. We didn't want to do anything horribly aggressive because it seemed like a complete waste. Now, for some weird reason, up in top lane, their jungler on top decided to dive our Renekton, and our Renekton gets double kill out of it. And we're like, why would they do that? It made no sense. It brought him back into the game. But anyway, focusing back on bot lane. So, Ezreal is currently one of the most played AD carries due to one of his most recent buffs, which reduced the mana cost of his Q, which is his main harass tool. It does tons of damage for a spell and applies on hit effects. So what they basically did was they gave him, he already had an ability which was particularly effective and had a longer range than his auto attacks, but it also has a cheap mana cost now, so he can easily use it to farm and harass without fear of running out of mana. Alistar decides to try and gank us. We're like, fine, whatever, try it. We'll just walk away because we've got a ward. Of course we do. We're bot lane. We continue to play it safe. Once again, they tried to do the Taric stun plus Sivir Q. It was gonna work perhaps, but nah, we didn't let them, and then we farm under tower because they're pushing and it's Sivir. Sivir naturally pushes. It's part of a skill set, to be honest. Now, you'd think Sivir would be pretty good against Ezreal, and you're sort of right, really. Spell Shield will block 1 Q, but considering how much spam you can do on the Q from Ezreal, it doesn't have a huge impact. And also, it's very easy to bait out the Spell Shield as Ezreal, because at one point I just walk up to her and auto attack, and she just casts Spell Shield for no reason. There you go, that's it. I just auto attacked her and she used Spell Shield. So that's 75 of her mana wasted for nothing, and we're just like, okay, we'll just go aggressive while she's got no mana to Spell Shield. I nearly kill her, but she flashes out the ult, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of sad, but oh well. So I focus on farming some more, because I was missing out on a tiny bit of CS, and now I'm ahead because of pushing her out of lane. The other lanes are going pretty well. We're having to roam a little bit in the other lanes to try and get Renekton back in the game fully, because even though he got a double kill, he was still horribly behind, and he still is. We get nearly dived, and we're just like, we were expecting it. With every game we played recently, they've tried that, and it's become a thing. And they push our bot tower. We're like, fine, okay. So I go off and I kill their tower, and we're like, yeah, we'll try and take the dragon. Now this fight is pretty cool. There we go, boom. Literally, we just stacked ults on that poor little Alistar, and Jarvan here gets away, or nearly does anyway. You'll find out in a second. Sona decides to continue chasing. I gave up because I didn't think it was worth it. I didn't think we could. And Jarvan tries to burst out Sona. Sona just goes, whatever, exhaust. Auto attack kills Jarvan. And I was laughing at that point. I was like, what? Seriously? He nearly killed you. And it's like, yeah, my Sona's just like, nope. I don't care. Exhaust OP, bro. I'm like, fine. Okay. So, I go back to farming a little bit more. Siva's still here, so she pushes it back naturally. I just go back, there's no point staying. Taric got back to lane, I was like, fine, whatever. At this point, I've got my dual Dorans, a Vamp Scepter, and a Phage. Sona dies at this point, because Alistar gank. We're like, no, no. We're doing so well in lane. And then my Mumu tries to gank, but it doesn't go quite as planned. I fire my ult nearly. And then our Mumu decides to flash, and fails to kill the Taric. And I'm like, oh. Sad face, and then I just go back to farm because there's just nothing else I can really do, and I'm an 80 carry and then our Gragas is just, the best way to describe it is just being a beast. And then we go down here, we kill Alistar under the tower, and we're just like, okay, and then we take dragon, and we're like, yep, okay, so this is going in our favour, we're doing well. So I put down 2 wards that I had, so I've got space, and I buy a Sheen. Now, because Q does on-hit effects, that means Sheen will proc from it. So, it's like a double damage Q from Ezreal, which, to be honest, it's not fun, and it hurts. And then I get a kill here. I'm happy with that. Especially since I'm still alive, and we killed their AD, which means I get to free farm, and I then take this tower, which is good for us because we lost our bot tower, which was awkward, but it's fine, whatever. Alistar tries to gank me, and I guessed when he'd headbutt, so as soon as he headbutted, I just phase shift out to avoid everything. Fired an ult down mid, came in to team fight. They tried catching Renekton, and Renekton just, it's like, whatever, bro, I'm Renekton, I'll just E out of stuff. I go back to bot lane because there's farm there. And then they're trying to take our mid tower. We have a little engage. Our Mumu is just crazy. Our Mumu goes Abyssal Scepter plus 2 Doran's rings. He just kills people. I'm like, seriously? Really? This works? I didn't know. I didn't know about this. I'm like, I poke the tower a little bit, I then walk away, because Jarvan is painful, to say the least. It's like, it's not fun facing Jarvan. Now, the reason you buy Trinity Force on Ezreal is because he's very skill-based, and Sheen is particularly effective due to the Q. Phage is very effective as well, once again, because on-hit effects from the Q. And as an item, it benefits him more than a Phantom Dancer. It replaces the Phantom Dancer within the generic AD carry build. After the Trinity, usually you end up building some stuff anyway. Right, I'll talk about that later. Fight, we kill Taric. I tried to fight Siva. It was a bad mistake from me, and she just kills me because she's got IE at this point. And I'm like, ouch! I didn't realize. And we saw win the fight. I believe we got dragon. Yeah, we got dragon. So then I go off and take red because I'm at the point when I'm strong because I've got the Trinity Force. So I'm pretty powerful, and with the Q on hit effects, red buff will proc when I hit. So a longer ranged auto attack with red buff, quite painful. It allows us to catch people really easily. We plan for another attempt on a team fight, but we don't really want a team fight under the tower because they are still powerful enough to fight us to a point. But we go in anyway. It probably wasn't the best idea ever. I end up dying in the end. We really should have done that, and our Sonus left it, and then quite awkward. Now, so at this point, they could have perhaps gone Baron at that point, but they didn't. But whatever, it was their choice. They went for a tower instead, which is a reasonable trade, really, for them. They needed to get towers, and this brought them closer to us in gold. So we get another fight. Now this fight, to be honest, I didn't understand what happened. Renekton just got caught horribly. I was like, no, not Renekton. They try and catch our guys here, and then they realise that if they fight there, it's quite possible that they'll die. And then, oh, the stacking of ults is so funny to watch. And a Moo ult, and then have an Ezreal on top of it, and we just chase them down and kill them quite happily. And then I have a little fight with her. I nearly die. I was lucky, and then Jarvan comes along, finishes me off. I'm like, no, how dare you? Why are you so mean to me? And then I come back up, and we're like, okay, so we're doing well. I go off and get red buff again. At this point, I went Bloodthirster because I needed survivability in fights, and I tanked Baron because I had to E through to get to it, and then it's like we backed off from it. I can't remember exactly when. I think it was because of this fight, and then I got trapped here. I couldn't do anything in the fight, and then my E. Yeah, I couldn't E out, it bugged on me. Argragas was such a cheeky guy with his Zhonya's, and we end up acing them, and I just decide, I'm down here, we've got a nice minion wave here, so I just push, because I might as well. So we push this tower, we then rush over here, take the golems, and we nearly take that tower, very nearly. Oh no, minions took it for us. Right, okay. So now I'm starting to build... I build a chain vest because I've got a heavy amount of AD damage, but I also build my another BF sword to go towards my IE, because I really need Infinity Edge for the crits. I've got some crits due to the Trinity, but it's not enough. I still need the IE. And then we have a fight here. I end up going for their tanks and their AP, which was really weird. And just down here, it's like our tanks, our Renekton and our Moo, it's like, what the hell? They were 1v3, I think? 1v3, yeah. And they didn't need us. They didn't need the carries. They were doing all on their own. We're like, what? This isn't right. And we just continue to push for the win at this point, because we're like, yeah, we might as well. And then it's pretty much GG. We say GG in chat, and they're like, GG, well played. And yeah, it was a fun game, and it proves that an AP and Moo is a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, Ezreal, pretty